everyone, I am the Shinigami,
And I am the Quincy.
and today we are reviewing Bleach Chapter 532.
Everything but the rain, Op 5.
Like I said earlier, I think it's not going to be many more ops, because they wouldn't have put the numbers afterwards. But,
Either next week or the week after will be the end of Ops.
yeah, definitely. So, there are three key points to this chapter. There is Aizen and Tosin and Gin talking. There is Ishin fighting the Black Hollow, and Masaki arriving. And then the third key point is Masaki's fight against the Hollow. So, let's start with Aizen, Gin, and Tosin. I have something to say real quick, though. I noticed that in this chapter, Gin was closer than Aizen to where Ishin was. Aizen was standing further back, so that may confirm my theory of Gin stabbing Ishin.
I did notice that too.
Yeah, I noticed that and I thought, yeah, I think that's what happened. So I think that kind of confirms it in a way. But we'll start with you. What were your thoughts on that part and what all you thought of it?
Well, I think the part where Aizen was pretty much thanking Urahara for leaving those cloaks behind, which it just showed that, Urahara is still a badass. To create something to where you become instantly invisible to any opponent, to hide your Ryatsu and like your body pretty much. That's genius right there. That's so give it up to Urahara. But the conversation itself between Aizen and Tosin was interesting because Tosin told Aizen he shouldn't refer to the Hollow as the Black Hollow. He should refer it to as white. And then I think Aizen says somewhere on the lines of, it says something about the soul of a Shinigami, and then how can I call it white when it's covered in a black clad armor? So here's where my prediction comes in, and if you guys watched our prediction video, then you would have heard my prediction of, I think that the Hollow is actually Kai and Shiba. And that's my prediction right there. So hopefully the soul of the Shinigami helps prove that prediction in any way possible, because it did rain when the Hollow attacks, and so that's just what I think. But overall, I did like this part a lot. The conversation was spot on.
It was very good. Well, I really liked this part. It was interesting how Gin and Tosin was talking about the Hollow, being white and pure inside or whatever. Maybe not pure, but white inside. It's funny because then it's like later on he gets his own Hollow form and he's white. So or at least his Hollow form is white. So I don't know. It's kind of confusing about that part. But yeah, there is some evidence to your theory about the Hollow being Kyan's soul sort of trapped in it. But I'll just state really quick the facts about what we know about Kyan and everything. So we know that this chapter takes place fairly recently, because obviously Ryukin and Masaki are both pretty young, so it wouldn't be too long before they had Ichigo and Uryu. And we knew that I don't know. Kyan was killed at some point while Rukio was in the division or in the Soul Society. So the only problem with it is, well, it may not be a problem at all actually, but we know that after Kyan was killed, he was sort of fused with the Hollow in a way. He was fused with it, but Rukia, after Kyan's death, was assigned to go to the human world, and it was never stated how much time had passed. It could easily have been, 18 years or so. We just don't know because it wasn't. I don't think it was said anywhere. So it could be Kyan back then. Like as soon as he died, Eisen and Gin and all them hopped on it, worked on the sample, as Eisen called it. Could have shipped him off to the human world. All that stuff with Ishin, and then because if you think about it, Rukia knew what to do whenever it came to transferring powers, and Ishin would have been the one who sort of established how to do that. So it is very, very possible that Kyan was in turn was the Black Hollow, and it's very, very possible. So yeah, I kind of lost where else I was going with that, but that sort of confirms it in a way. But we'll just have to wait and see because it's really uncertain. I mean, nothing's set in stone yet, so we don't know 100% what is. But yeah, that's my bit on it. Uh, mm, the next key point would be Ishin's fight with the Hollow. So I'll start with it since the Shinigami.
Of course.
Well, this was a really interesting fight. I didn't pick up some of the stuff until I read it the second time around, but Aizen mentioned about Ishin not being able to use his Bankai in this state, and we also remember that the captains and the vice captains have limiters because they're so powerful in the human world. They only fight, I think Renji said at one point, is they only fight at 30% capacity. So, or 30% power of what they actually have. So this limiter may have been a real burden for Ishin, as we saw, and he probably could have easily taken down the Hollow or whatever. But yeah, so he's fighting, and at one point he didn't use a Bankai or anything. He didn't say Hado or he didn't use any of the Keto things, but he put his hands against his face, like got some blood off of his face or his hands or whatever. It looked like he cut his hand, and then he put his hand near his mouth and he blew fire out, kind of like Sasuke's fireball jutsu. But I thought that was really interesting. Is that one of his Shikai's abilities? Is it enables him to use fire around his body, just like Yamamoto's. So I thought that was very interesting. And of course, he fights the Hollow, and the Hollow tries to use a Sero, and he cuts off the Hollow's arm. It lands by Masaki. So, but yeah, that fight was really interesting, and I really like that fire part. I thought it could possibly be one of his Shikai's abilities. But what did you think, Quincy?
Well, I was actually going to jump into the next key point because I'm pretty sure you just covered everything there was about that key point. But yeah, I liked it, and the fire ability makes sense. The fight was nice and paced out. Also, Ishin discovering that being smart, actually using his head, figured out that it was a blade that cut him and not the Hollow. So I like that. He's not like Ichigo. Ichigo would have been like, "That's the Hollow." The Hollow just attacked me for some I don't know how fast the Hollow was. Ishin actually used his brain and figured that out. So I like that. I like that part. But maybe we should just jump into the next point, which would be Quincy. Masaki showing up to fight. Alright, here's what I loved. Aizen was caught off guard. Did not expect that. He did not see that in his master plan. Misaki showing up. Here's the one thing I'm really disappointed about in this chapter, in this part, key point. We didn't get to see Misaki's Quincy Cross. When we saw her bow, it was a regular reishi bow, like Uryu's first bow. But it did seem a lot more powerful, because it looked like she did shoot off a sort of a Liefregen attack, but not as devastating and not as many arrows as Uryu's. Yet the hollow one arm was still able to dodge her attacks. Here's what I find. Here's what I do like about this part though. Masaki's in danger. Ishin's looking on, and Masaki's still joking around. She disarms her bow, spreads her arms, and waits for the hollow to attack. The hollow bites her, and she says, "I got you." And I'm just like, way to be playful in such a serious situation, Misaki. You get a thumbs up. Way to be playful. And then all of a sudden she blows a hole through the hollow. So I'm just like, I really wish I knew what you did. It was cool. I like the Quincy's, but the fight with Misaki in the hollow was rushed. This fight could have easily gone to the next chapter, and you could have spread it out more. And so you know what? Overall I didn't like this part very much. It was too rushed for me. A few pages in the next chapter with the fight with Misaki in the hollow would have been a lot better, but no, I just didn't like it very much.
Well, I really like this part, actually, surprisingly. But I can understand where you're coming from, since you know a lot more about the Quincy's and everything, and all that. But, it was interesting. We saw that she went right away and interfered with Ishin's fight and shot an arrow aiming at the hollow, but it dodged and missed Ishin. And then the hollow went after her. I like how they drew that hollow jumping off the roof, and Ishin went after it for a bit, but she kept firing at it. And it was kind of she was really really smart to think up that in the midst of battle. You know, it's like, I'm not hitting it. Bam! I know what to do. She threw her bow out. She's like, "Come at me. You want me? Come at me." And that was very gutsy. That pose that she did. Think back to episode 1, where Ichigo throws his arms out. He's like, "You want my soul? Come and fight me for it." That's exactly what I thought. That was like an Ichigo moment. I was like, "Damn, that was really good." And then the hollow bit her. And it was kind of funny how she held the hollow's head. It kind of looked like she was cradling a child. But she had it looked like a mini bow in her hands. But it was really, really awesome.
Yeah.
So, but that mini bow, does that possibly mean that Ishida will be able to wield dual bows in each hand? Fire off at twice as many enemies?
Well,
That's an interesting theory.
Misaki's a pureblood, so I'm sure that has something to do with it. And we know right now that Ishida won't be Uryu isn't a pureblood. He's a muggle. But here's the one thing though, like with the hollow attack. The hollow only had one arm. He had his other arm, which still has a blade on it. Yet he bit her. Why bite Misaki when you're trying to slash the fuck out of Ishin? That's all I'm gonna say.
But yeah, I honestly actually like that part, surprisingly. But I thought it was really,
Strange.
yeah, I thought it was good thinking on Masaki's part to do that. But I do agree, it could have went on for a little bit longer. But it does show how powerful she is to, blow his brains all over the road in the next shot. And of course, Aizen's, creepy rape face was pretty funny. But
Yeah.
I don't have anything to add to that. What about you?
I'm good, but I think it's time for something.
I do believe it is time for the basic fact.
And the lotion.
Yep. What would you rate this chapter for badassness?
About a. I'm gonna give it a 6.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I did enjoy the fighting.
Yeah.
It was pretty badass, but I enjoyed the talk from Eyes to Mentos more.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, I enjoyed the talk more.
Yeah. It was a good talk. As for me, badassness was about the same for me until it got to Masaki's, like shotgun bow to the head, and then it jumped up to about a 9 for me for that part. What would you rate it for attention? How much attention were you paying?
Well, I will go about an 8 because after our prediction video last night, uh, uh, I was pretty stoked for it.
Yeah.
So reading page from page, I was glued to each page. I was like, yeah, I like this. It wasn't until the second read when I figured out, like, this is rough.
Yeah.
So yeah, about an 8.
Yeah.
8, 9. Yeah, around there.
It was the same for me. It was about an 8 for attention. How satisfied were you with this chapter?
I was actually very satisfied.
Yeah.
About a 8.5.
Okay.
We got to see more Nishin's abilities.
Yeah.
We got to see how strong Misaki was. We got to see Aizen not know something in advance.
Yeah. That was nice.
That wasn't into his plan, so I really like that. I like that. I like that.
I'd give it a 9. I was really satisfied with this. What about interest? How interested were you? Or how interesting was the chapter?
After the thought of my theory becoming like true,
Yeah.
it jumped from a 5 to a 9.
Yeah. Mine.
That's pretty much all I have to say for that.
I'd have to say it was about an 8 for me. It was about an 8 in interest. What about confusion?
0. I wasn't confused at all. It was a really easy read to me.
It was a 0 for me too.
There was limited talking.
Yeah. Alright, that's all.
Okay.
What about fan service?
It's like this every week. It's like if you like the character, it's gonna high. Like if you like Masaki, and there's a lot of Genin items to fans.
Yeah.
Toastin,
But general.
If you like those characters, then it's gonna be pretty high. But for me, I'm 7 on fan service.
That was about a 0 for fan service. I like Masaki, but fan service I'd say about 0. I think I'm starting to I think I'm starting to develop more fanboy feelings for Masaki now. What about animation? What was the quality of the episode? Chapter.
Well, the drawing of the hollow itself, it stays like extremely good.
Yeah.
Like these ops.
Yeah.
He's done a fantastic job. So the animation for this chapter, an 8. He's done a really good job.
Yeah.
On like just in general.
Yeah. Very talented artist. I'd have to give it a 7.5 or an 8, cause it's not, or maybe even a 6, cause Tosin, He kind of matched the background. He was the same color. It's like
They
okay.
matched the clothes, man.
Yeah, he matched the clouds and everything. It's like okay. What about predictability?
Well, last week we had said that Misaki was going to show up at the end of the chapter. So
Yeah,
predictability about a 5.
yeah,
Uh, as we did predict Misaki showing up.
yeah,
I didn't see like Ishin using like any more Shikai moves.
yeah,
You know, about a 5 or 6 on
yeah.
predictability.
I'd give it about a 4 for predictability. And the general chapter rating, like out of 5 stars.
3, about a 3.
I'd give it a 4.2 because I really liked a lot about this chapter. So,
Yeah, understandable.
but yeah. Do you have anything else to add?
Not really.
Yeah, me neither. Well, I guess that's it.
I
Uh,
am see.
and I am the Shinigami.
He's a
And
Shinigami.
yeah, I'm the Shinigami, and he's the Quincy. And I am signing off.
Adios, otakus.
Jana.